There have been more than 2,500 mass shootings in the United States over the last 5 years.
Hey, they're shooting right at us, guys. Everybody stay down.
And at the heart of every one of them, a firearm. And I'm standing outside the site of one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history, the Pulse nightclub. We're going to show you how some of the people who survived these mass shootings are trying to stop it from ever happening again.
We remind them what's at stake if we continue to choose to do nothing.
You're going to see some of the gun reform laws that are getting passed in some places, how those laws are working, and why there's limits to where some of these laws are getting passed.
If guns made us safer, like a lot of people think they do, America would be the safest country in the world. But data shows that's not the case.
We start, though, about 6 miles north of here.
And without further ado, here's Diana.
Thank you so much.
That's Brandon Wolf.
If I didn't know any better, this feels like a campaign launch, but it's not.
And he's enjoying the official launch.
Okay, who's this one for?
Bridget.
Of what he calls his first book. It's an autobiography which details one of the most painful nights of his life.
In the wake of the tragedy at Pulse, I think about every single person who offered an ounce of kindness without even knowing what I was going through. Everything about June 11th of 2016, the night before the shooting, was normal. And then in an instant, the most normal night of our lives and the most normal of places for us to be became the tragedy that people know it to be. A gunman charged through the front doors just after 2 o'clock. I was washing my hands at a bathroom sink. My best friends, Drew and Juan, were enjoying one last dance under their favorite disco ball. And that man, filled with hate and armed with a weapon of war, opened fire. He fired over 110 rounds into my safe space that night. And you can imagine your safe space, what that feels like for it to be shredded, torn, turned into a war zone. That's what it felt like that night.
49 people died and 53 others were wounded. Brandon made it out alive, but his friends Drew and Juan did not survive.
The 49 lives simply don't matter enough to people on Capitol Hill to really make a change.
Just 1 week later, Brandon started taking on Congress to change federal gun laws. And more than 7 years later now, he hasn't stopped.
We have a toxic relationship with firearms in this country. Very powerful, smart marketing folks have taught us to believe that guns make us more masculine, that guns make us more patriotic. They've built this emotional bond between human beings and an instrument of death. I want to thank you for inviting me to speak before you today.
Brandon has taken that message directly to Congress a couple times, the first time in 2019.
It feels like we've made a decision. Rather than use every tool in our toolbox to combat hatred, we have chosen to subsidize it, embolden it, and hand it an assault weapon.
Mr. Wolf, you are now recognized. Mr. Wolf.
And again, after another mass shooting at another LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado.
It means wondering if today is the day that hate comes armed with a clenched fist, or worse, an AR-15. While the conversation in Washington can sometimes get mired in, the debate over policy and living on the you want to take my guns or you want guns in everyone's hands, polar opposites, we humanize it. Our stories humanize it. We remind them what's at stake if we continue to choose to do nothing.
I love country music, and it was 3 days of sunshine, of being by the pool during the day, soaking up the sun. It was shortly after Jason Aldean took the stage that we thought we heard fireworks, which ended up being, what would result in becoming the country's deadliest mass shooting.
This way. Go.
Emily Cantrell ran from the gunfire in Las Vegas that night, and eventually she hid in an airplane hangar for hours at the airport next door.
What was it that lit the fire under you to actually get up and do something?
It was a plane ride home from Vegas where I realized I need to do something.
Thank you for having me. My name is Emily Cantrell, and I came down from Seattle today to represent myself and share how on October 1st, 2017, gun violence forever changed my life.
Emily went to Olympia, the state capital in her home state of Washington, to share her story.
We were sitting ducks with no way to fight back. We ran, we dived, and with each new round of bullets pouring down on us, my emotions changed from being scared to having complete hatred to whoever was doing this, to wondering when we were all going to die.
The result?
And with that, I'm going to sign this bill.
Bump stocks, which make semi-automatic weapons into fully automatic weapons, were outlawed.
And I was told that my testimony had a lot to do with it. And so that was an incredible feeling. Even though I felt like it wasn't enough, that's how I really got started with these advocacy efforts.
Emily joined the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, which is a national organization that works to eliminate the harm caused by gun violence.
Good morning. My name is Emily Cantrell, and I am here to urge you to support Senate Bill 6077 to prohibit high-capacity magazines.
She testified several more times.
I've heard war veterans compare it to being on the battlefield with no way to fight back.
For several more gun bills. And in 2022, she was in the room when Washington Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill banning high-capacity magazines and ghost guns.
It's incredibly emotional, like the day that passed, and then being in the governor's office as he signed it, there were really no words.
Do you feel like you're part of the solution?
We have made amazing progress here in Washington state, and there are other states that reach out to us at the Alliance for Gun Responsibility asking, what is going on over there? How are you doing what you do? And can you come over here and help us out? And so the Alliance is starting to do replication work.
Back at the book signing in Orlando,
we need voices like Brandon's.
The group Moms Demand Action, which is also fighting for more public safety measures, calls survivors of mass shootings part of the solution.
People who have experienced it and lived through it are the voices that need to be heard.
Their voices are working to change gun laws, but they're facing a lot of political opposition.
You don't have to believe or agree with me, however, that's how I feel. I would rather protect lives than someone's gun.
Gun violence is a uniquely American crisis that I think ultimately is going to touch all of us in some way, and so that means we all are truly part of the solution.
Be sure to subscribe to Solutionaries to see all our latest videos right here on YouTube.